Honorable Professor Marc Galanter, Honorable Justice Kavi, all the students and faculties and invitees. It gives me great pleasure in requesting Professor Marc Galanter to deliver a special lecture on access to justice in the world of expanding capabilities. How in future about access to some of the positive rights there could be a greater impetus because of the expanded access to justice. About this perhaps he will be speaking. He also does for a MKNMDR lecture, and we made use of his presence for various other interactions, especially with the environmental law studies group, then GILS, then Constitutional Law Society group, and today this is a special lecture. And of course, our idea is that this could be video recorded and it could be uploaded to website. Whereas from the next week onwards, we'll be launching a series of special lectures, and we are making use of such opportunities to have it in our website so that there could be such access to such lectures by the general public also. With this, let me heartily once again welcome Professor Marc Galanter and request him to deliver his lecture on access to justice. Thank you.
And it's a great pleasure to be here, and I'm going to talk today, I guess in the several presentations I've made so far have basically been about India. This one is, it's not exactly about the United States. You know, my professor that helped me when I first came to India was a wonderful comparative law scholar named Max Reinstein. Some of you may run into his work someday if you read the work of Max Weber. He was the translator of Max Weber and brought out the first Weber book on law in English. Anyway, Reinstein, somebody who's born with some terrible deformity, and they're poor. Do they have a right to have this?
There is an enactment,
Yeah.
Disabilities Act, the Poverty Act. There is an enactment for this, to provide these people with sustenance, even jobs. There are certain reservations.
But suppose there's a technology or a procedure that enables them to get rid of the deformity, that it's terribly expensive. Think they're entitled to that?
There are health schemes in which they certainly can apply, and there is provision. How many can access it is difficult to say, but the provision is there.
No, that's, you know, it seemed to me fascinating. It's probably something, imagination of the framers. But, you know, it certainly, you can argue that it would be in the spirit of what they're done. But the point is, or a point is, that these very generous commitments of the Constitution, or certainly read in this generous spirit that the Chief Justice is reading them, is one where there's lots of things that should be done. The question is, which ones are you going to do, because you can't do everything. You can't assuage the troubles of all these people to the extent you would like. And the question is, and who's going to make that decision? And of course, is it going to be the courts? Is it going to be Parliament?
Krishna, I think the government has its own ministries,
Yeah,
its own departments.
yes,
They frame policy.
yeah.
They are the ones who create the means and the manner in which things are to be done. It is not always possible for the government itself to do things because it doesn't have the infrastructure. It doesn't have that number of people required to deal with these problems. So these are all broken up and they're entrusted to non-governmental organizations. And there's a large set of NGOs who are carrying out these schemes and works in different places under the auspices of the government, but they're independent bodies doing the work. For example, the education process, then the process of